Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our May Rooster Booster Breakfast. Good to see you this morning. At this time, we're going to ask you to stand for our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. With our invocation today, we're going to welcome up Gates Settle, who is the retiring principal at Owensboro Catholic High School. Of course, has had decades of service in public education, so give him a big round of applause. Gates, good morning.
Please bow your heads with me. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we come to you giving thanks for all the many blessings we've been given. Help us to always be aware and not take for granted our way of life and where and how we live. We also give thanks for our families and our friends, co-workers, and others that we come in contact with each day, and help us to be an instrument to them of your peace, kindness, and grace, so that they may see you through us in our words and our actions. We pray for and give thanks for all those who serve and protect us in our community, who are willing to put their lives in harm's way to protect us. Help us to be mindful and remember all those who may be homeless, helpless, or suffering in any way, and pray that they may find comfort in knowing you. We ask that you give us the strength and patience to provide for those who are put in our path, who challenge us the most, for those may be the ones who need us the most. May God bless us with the wisdom to make good decisions, courage to take necessary risks, unshakable hope to maintain a steadfast spirit, good humor to keep things in perspective, and that we always remain grounded in God, knowing that we've done our best and have served God with all of our hearts. We ask that you watch over us, guide us, and protect us as we continue on the path to eternal salvation. In his name we pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you.
Thanks. At this time, we're going to have our Pledge of Allegiance, and we have various representatives from local law enforcement to lead us in that today, so we're going to ask them to come up. Oh, that's right. Yes, and don't forget, the 36th Annual Police Memorial Service is coming up on Thursday, May 18th at 3rd Baptist Church on Allen Street.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Big round of applause. And you can actually remain standing for this morning's Mingle Minute. Meet somebody new.
Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
All right, so you all know the drill if you've been here. We have a secret shaker planted among you this morning. And our secret shaker today is my dear friend Gwen from the Owensboro Symphony. Gwen Payne, where are you? Way over on the side today. Okay, so we're going to recognize two people today, right? So who are we going to recognize first? Brent, come on up here. So we have an amazing gift basket for you from Crazy Me Gifts and Apparel. This includes a candleberry candle that is the scent of Kentucky bourbon. So set that candle on fire. You'll want to eat it with a spoon or drink it with a straw. Don't do that, but you want to. All right, and then Gwen, who else are you going to recognize? Yeah, there's more, Gwen. Where's Natalie? Natalie, come on over here. Now, this is what you call shameless self-promotion from Gwen, but you're winning an Owensboro Symphony Orchestra prize package, which is awesome. Yeah, tickets, by the way, in there, too. Congratulations. Of course. Actually, thank Gwen, your table mate. So it's time to recognize our new members this morning. And I want to tell you, Candace and I were just talking, and this is a pretty fun stat. We are getting close to a 20-year membership record here at the Chamber. So that deserves a big round of applause. And speaking of new members, it's been a big week at the radio station because Monday morning I welcomed my brand new co-host. And so fittingly this morning, she's going to celebrate our new Chamber members because she's my new member. So I need y'all to put your hands together and welcome to the podium the fantastic, the lovely, the vivacious, the effervescent Mary Catherine Maddox. member of the current leadership Owensboro class, which apparently she has to miss work on May 18th, but whatevs. And look, I mean, do we not match? Is this not perfect? Thank you. It's all you.
All right. I'm going to lower this down a little bit. Thank you so much, Chad. I'm so excited to be a part of the Town Square Media family and excited to be here with you all today. I'm going to introduce our Rooster Booster new members. We have a lot, so bear with me. Progressive Rehab, Sports Therapy and Aesthetics. Trisha Phelps is a local businesswoman owning Progressive Sports Therapy and Progressive Rehab for 30 years. Her 5,000 square foot outpatient clinic on Sherm Road offers physical, occupational, and speech therapies with 3 satellite locations in Philpott, Henderson, and Hartford. Specializing in pain management, stroke rehabilitation, women's health, joint replacements, neuropathy, lymphedema, class 4 lasers, and shockwave. Her daughter, Kaylin Sorrells, has opened Progressive Aesthetics, offering laser hair removal, facials, Botox, filler, and a variety of aesthetic procedures. They strive to provide personalized one-on-one treatments with the highest techniques and technologies with a smile. Joining us this morning are Trisha Phelps and Kaylin Sorrells. Welcome to the Chamber, Progressive Rehab, Sports Therapy, and Aesthetics. Next, we have Joy's Cooking Classes and Joyful Meal Prep. Joy's Cooking Classes and Joyful Meal Prep provide a variety of culinary experiences for children, teens, and adults. They are joyfully providing a new date night experience for adults where you can BYOB. You can attend with a private group and choose your menu, which is 6 or more people, or an open to the public adult night. Children and teen classes are offered on weekly to monthly basis. Birthday parties are always a hit with any age. Ready to eat and take and bake meals are offered weekly through their Joyful Meal Prep. Whether you're eating for health or convenience, they have options for everyone. Pre-orders are due by Saturday at midnight and pickups are Monday, and their grab-and-go cooler is open Monday and Tuesdays from 11 to 7. Whether you're interested in booking classes or ordering meal prep, you can visit their website at joyscookingclasses.com. Joining us this morning are Mike and Ashley Webb. Welcome to the Chamber, Joy's Cooking Classes, Joyful Meal Prep. Yay! Next we have Shiloh's Lounge and Grill. Shiloh's Lounge and Grill is named after the owner's 8-year-old son. They just started their 3rd year of business. Shiloh's has attracted people all over the state and many others. They offer breakfast and lunch all day and soul food on Wednesdays and Fridays. Joining us this morning is Justin Davidson. Welcome to the Chamber, Shiloh's Lounge and Grill. Yay! Do it! Yay! Next we have Precision Garage Door of Owensboro, Evansville. You can rely on Precision Garage Door of Owensboro, Evansville to provide the type of service you would expect from a locally owned company while enjoying the security that doing business with a national franchise company can bring. Each location is owned and operated as an individual franchise. Their slogan is, "We fix garage doors right." And they spend a lot of time defining and redefining what that means to them as a company and what it means to you as a consumer. This singular focus has led them to pioneer a training program for technicians that is second to none in the garage door industry. They're a full-service garage door company specializing in garage door repair, replacement garage doors, and repair of garage door openers. Joining us this morning are Eric and Terry Fulkerson. Welcome to the Chamber, Precision Garage Door of Owensboro, Evansville. Next we have Crumble. Crumble has expanded nationwide, making it the fastest growing cookie company in the nation. Crumble strives to fulfill its mission of bringing friends and family together over a box of the best cookies in the world. Crumble focuses on developing unique and delicious cookies inspired by popular flavors, foods, and desserts of all kinds. Crumble offers a 4-flavor weekly rotating menu as well as the staple milk chocolate chip and pink sugar cookie. Join us this morning are Michael Crawley and Katrina Sattler. Welcome to the Chamber, Crumble. Thank you. Next, we have McMahon Exterminating. McMahon Exterminating, Inc. has been providing safe and effective pest management solutions for their customers for 52 years now. Jack McMahon started it all in 1971. His son, Charlie, who is the company's current president, joined the team in 1981. Charlie's son, Luke, joined the team McMahon in 2018, making McMahon Exterminating, Inc. a third-generation family business. Additionally, McMahon Exterminating, Inc. has 3 other father and son teams, along with a husband, wife, and nephew, as well as a mother and her son, making McMahon Exterminating, Inc. truly a family business. Joining us this morning are Kevin Brown and Jake Wynn. Welcome to the Chamber, McMahon Exterminating. Here we go, he's ready. Next, we have the Peach Cobbler Factory. Remember how growing up, if you ate all your dinner, you were rewarded with dessert? Well, Peach Cobbler Factory wants you to know that you can have your sweet reward without conditions. When they open on May 6th, you can indulge in the most unique offering of desserts under one roof. Cobbler, cookies, banana pudding, cinnamon rolls are all available to tempt your taste buds. Visit them at 3245 Mount Moriah Avenue, Suite 1. Joining us this morning are Jeremy Luckett and Caleb Bowen. Welcome to the Chamber, Peach Cobbler Factory. Hi. Let's be friends. Then after you eat your peach cobbler, you can go over to Orange Theory Fitness. Orange Theory offers full-body group workouts with options in studio and out of the studio that make it simple for you to get more life. They focus on heart rate-based training, guaranteed to produce results from the inside out. Their workout is backed by science and designed to supercharge your metabolism for more results. They are tracked by technology so you can monitor your results in real time based on your individual heart rate zones. Joining us this morning are Sam Schneider and Amy Smithhart. Welcome to the Chamber, Orange Theory Fitness. And last but not least, we have Riley & Co. Riley & Co. Jewelers was founded 4 years ago in Owensboro by Stephen Riley. With over 15 years of experience being a jeweler, Stephen is one of Owensboro's finest repair specialists. From custom builds to engagement rings, Riley can do it all. Located on Highway 54 at the intersection of Fairview Drive, they are easy to find. Everyone should know that Riley & Co., they are always the lowest price in town and always half off retail. Joining us this morning are Stephen Riley and Tony Yeager. Welcome to the Chamber, Riley & Co. Jewelers. Yay, we did it. Thank you so much.
Nailed it, MCAT. So, by the way, the poll on our show today is inspired by Mary Catherine's purse, which is right there. Just hold that up. Try. Don't sprain your arm, but... Okay, can I just tell you, so our poll is, what is something weird that you carry in your purse or your merce that you think other people should too? If she dumped that thing out right now, you will learn there's more in that purse than at St. Vincent de Paul. I'm not kidding. It's crazy what that woman carries in that purse. All right, it is time to recognize our Ambassador of the Month. And this month, from Heritage Federal Credit Union, your business banker, Sean Stinnett. Where's Sean? Come on up here. Ooh, this sounds good. You are getting hooked up for your service with a $50 gift card to Lure Seafood and Grill. How about that? Heck yeah. So very excited that we are sponsored this morning by our friends from Visit Owensboro, and we're going to welcome to the podium Mark Calitri, President and CEO.
Well, that's our community, and we really have something to be proud about. And tourism counts in Owensboro and Davis County. And just over the last 2 years, we've seen records amount of revenue flowing in to this community because of visitors coming from outside of this community. This past year, we've set an all-time hotel occupancy record. This year already, we're off to a blazing fast start, so we have momentum going forward. The convention center, this building, set an all-time record for the number of hotel room nights booked, and for the first time, it did not require a city subsidy in its operations. As you came in today, you probably have saw the construction moving along on our newest hotel across the street. Right behind that, we'll soon begin construction on Kentucky's newest indoor sports facility. So it's all coming together quickly. Simply put, more people have spent more money in Owensboro this last year than ever before. And so really break that down, and what does that actually mean to everybody here? It means better jobs, better wages, it means better quality of life. It pays for that housekeeper to put gas in their car. It pays for servers at the restaurants. It allows that server to pay for their child to play soccer. It also pays for that server or that housekeeper to put gas in their car to get to work. Also, that visitor spending applies to our business owners. It helps them sponsor a local team or maybe donate to their favorite charity. Also, increased visitor spending helps that business owner. They might need extra realtors. They might need bankers. They might need insurance agents, and the list goes on and on. So you can see that impact. But this success that we're all having doesn't happen by accident. It takes a lot of people working together. And so we have a great team at Visit Owensboro with Teresa Jones, Caitlin Weaver, wave everybody, Katie Pickens, Dave Kirk, and Chris Gendek. So thank you for what you do. And what we do at our organization wouldn't be possible without the volunteer servant leadership from our board, and they commit a lot of time and effort to our organization and what we're trying to accomplish. We have our board chairman, Claude Bacon, who wanted me to say, "May the 4th be with you today," because he's a comic nerd. We have Vice Chairman David Johnson, our treasurer is Taylor DeVoe, Greg Floyd from Old South, Sharon Neesmith with the Hampton Inn, Sonny Patel, and Andrew Howard. Thank you very much for your service. Now, when I first moved here 6 years ago, people always told me there's nothing to do in Owensboro. I heard that theme going on, nothing to do in Owensboro. Well, that's all changed now, and we've got an incredible lineup of experiences that you're not going to miss. So next week, we're going to launch the Revitalized Barbecue Festival. And so what can you expect from that event? It's going to be the return of craft vendors. There's going to be more food. There's going to be more professional cooking teams. And then now we've added Kentucky's newest bourbon event right here at the Convention Center. So you're going to have 36 distilleries, including the biggest names in the industry. And so you might be asking, how hot are the tickets to get into that event? The VIP tickets? Dave?
Oh, we're sold out.
Sold out. Can't get a VIP ticket.
Can't get one of those. No.
We have an exclusive dinner that Friday night at Green River.
I got to interrupt you, Mark. That's all sold.
That's sold out too. You can't get a ticket for that event as well. But we do have some good news. There's a limited number of tickets still left for that event. You're going to get to try over 100 different whiskeys in that day. Okay, get ready if you want to know what's coming up here this summer. Just in about 2 weeks, we have our newest event, Jeeps and Jams. On that Friday night, you're going to have a drone show. Everybody will have 2 chances to see an amazing drone show on the river on Wednesday, the 17th, 8:30. On that Friday, 8:30 again. You won't want to miss this drone show on the river. On Memorial Day weekend, we're bringing in the world's largest geocaching event. We've got people from all across the country. We're going to try to find Bigfoot that week. There's been incredible sightings here in Davis County, and we're going to try to find him all week long. After that, you've got the River City Bike Expo and Tattoo Expo, all things motorcycle coming up. And that goes into the Nikki Hayden Ride week. So that's 10 days of activity. We've got the Strawberry Fest coming up after that. We got Romp with the strongest lineup in years. And our visitors tent, all these years we've been having everybody sign the bourbon barrels. This year, we're going to have the liquid out. It's going to be the first Romp bourbon made, so you'll have a chance to purchase that. This summer, we've got a pickleball tournament. We've got World Series baseball, World Series softball, tennis tournaments, golf tournaments. In July, right here in this building, we've got the World Series of Cornhole. We're going to name a national champion in cornhole right here. And you think that's funny, but they've got over $50,000 of prize money they're going to give away, so that makes it a little bit different sport. In August, we've got the brand new Bluegrass Legends experience. It'll be over at Moreland Park in the Sports Center. And we're bringing in the Smokey and Bandit characters from that movie and the Black Trans Am. So I was glad to see Keith Kane here and Sheriff Brad Youngman. Don't be jealous, but we are bringing back Buford T. Justice, the real sheriff. And in the fall, we've got the first inaugural of Owensboro Comic and Toy Con, which will be an amazing event here. But wait, there's more to announce. The hottest ticket this past year is coming back. We've just learned. They've booked it again. Chad, get ready. It's Micro Wrestling is coming back again, the hottest ticket. It'll be coming back. And we've got amazing partners, if that's not enough. Look on your table, folks. We've got Romp lineup coming up. You've got the Owensboro Museum of Fine Art, all the great stuff they've got. The River Park, all of their activities. Look at this event that the Symphony has. That is a cool event, the Summer Salute with Rockapella. We've got the inaugural Leadership Summit coming up, and then you have Trunnels, always activities there all summer long. So there is a lot to do in this community, and there's a lot to do in the next 6 months. So to conclude the report, tourism is strong here in Davis County. We're creating new events for everyone to enjoy. But we got to keep doing more. We've got to keep building, keep moving forward, keep expecting, having higher expectations. And then I would close it like this with Larry Maglinger, and he summed it up best when he said our success, the key to success is to kick it up a notch. And so today, in honor of him, and as he was our city liaison and our board, let's all work together, and in his honor, let's kick it up a notch here this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. For future consideration, I love the interplay between Dave and Sharon during that. I think we should put you up in a balcony and just have you be Waldorf and Statler from the Muppets. Every Rooster Booster, you just sit in the balcony. Occasional comments come out. That's a good idea. I love it. It is time for our chamber update. Mark talked about all the things that are going on with Visit Owensboro. Tons of stuff going on with the chamber, and our president and CEO, Candace Brake, she's got the scoop for you.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be here today with you. Mark and the Visit Owensboro team, just want you all to know how much our chamber team appreciates what you do every day. And to the rest of you, when you have an organization like that, that's your partner, your sister organization, and they are pulling hard and making things happen, it's just so great to be able to know that and pick up the phone and talk to you and share and commiserate, but also know that you guys are killing it. So thank you all so very much. Yes. So before we start the chamber update, I do want to recognize some special guests, and we have one special guest that was with us every month for years, and he is not with us today, and Mark brought him up, and that's Commissioner Maglinger. And I'd like for us just for a moment to just think about Commissioner Maglinger and his contributions, and not just to the city of Owensboro, but to this chamber. Larry moved back in '76, and he was a partner with Terry Woodward in Custom Audio Video. Through the years, I want you to know, through this chamber, he was Entrepreneur of the Year. He won Small Business of the Year. He was Small Business Chair when I actually started in '93 for the chamber. And then he was our board chair in 1999. Larry always led with kindness, with humility. He always had an encouraging word, always could figure out ways around things, right, impediments. But most of all, and I think Keith Lawrence, I'll paraphrase what you said, he didn't sow with discontent, he sowed with love, and that's how he led. So Larry, we will miss you, and our thoughts with Tammy and the boys and their families as they move forward during this time. Okay, so let's move on to some other special guests today. We have Gil Mitchell here from Senator Mitch McConnell's office. If you'd stand, and we'll wait till the end to give you all applause. We have our Majority Caucus Chair, Kentucky State Representative Suzanne Miles. We have State Representative DJ Johnson. Our Mayor Tom Watson is at our new member table with his daughter-in-law. City Commissioner Bob Glenn, City Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright, City Manager Nate Pagan, our Judge Executive Charlie Caslin, County Commissioner Larry Condor, County Commissioner Janie Marksberry, County Commissioner Chris Caslin, Circuit Judge Jay Wethington, our Sheriff Brad Youngman, who actually organized our honor guard today. Thank you, Sheriff. Our Jailer Art Maglinger. And OPS board members, we have Jeremy Edge and Dr. Jeremy Luckett. Thank you guys for being here today. We really appreciate it. And thank you to DJ and Suzanne for the long hours you all put in. It's good to see you all back here since the gavel has sounded. And with that, remember that on Tuesday, May the 16th, we have a very important primary election. We have gubernatorial primaries on the ballots and several other state offices. So be sure to vote on May the 16th, and we will be sending out information on who's on the ballot so you can just have an idea of ballot positions and things to be thinking about before the election. Our ambassador meeting will be Wednesday, May the 17th at noon. And Changing Our Community Day, which is the culmination of the Leadership Owensboro program, will be on May the 18th. So exciting to spend time with you all throughout this year, and we're all sad already about it, but May the 18th will be a fantastic day, and we look forward to sharing that with you. And then on June the 1st, we have Leadership Owensboro graduation. That will be in the chamber lobby, and that's open to everyone. We want to thank Kyle Ott and German American for sponsoring that event for us, and all that you all do, Kyle. We appreciate it, and it's good seeing you here today. Corporate tours for CYP are back, and our first is going to be on May the 10th, next Wednesday at 1 p.m. at Sun Windows. They're just a premier manufacturing facility, one of our pioneers in FAME and the FAME program, so it's a great thing, all the CYP. We hope to see you all there. You'll learn a lot about what's going on in our local economy. And our 40 Under 40 is launching. We do this every now and then when we have some people getting older. And we'd like to just remind you to nominate people for 40 Under 40. The last week of May will be deadlines for nominations. So this will be a process ongoing over the summer, and we will announce our group in September. And it's good to see our Owensboro Living crew. They're going to do that with us. It's good to see you guys today. Hey, Jason. Save the date for the Leadership Summit, and Mark talked a moment about that. So the Leadership Summit is the inaugural Leadership Summit in our community. It's a limited space because we're having it at Bluegrass Museum, but we ask for you all to consider participating in this. We're not going to have breakouts. It's going to be a full day of just talking about leadership issues in the community, but also inspiring us to be better, not just in community at large and community engagement, but in our own businesses and our workplace. We have several speakers that are going to be featured, and we're working on more. We have D'Angelo Simmons, who is a NBA sports agent and rep, Bracken Darrell, who's CEO of Logitech, and Dee Robinson, who is an entrepreneur, and we got to talk to her last month and hear from her. But it's going to be an action-packed day, and just to connect us and keep moving our community forward. And Stacy Edzellis is here today. She's the director of the Leadership Institute. Stacy, it's great to see you. Chamber After Hours, okay, it's going to be at Green River Distilling Company right after the Leadership Summit on June the 8th. They're going to be launching some really exciting news, so we ask for you all to be there at 4:30, but between 4:30 and 6:30. The program's at 5:15, and a shout out to Green River for always stepping up. And if you look on your at your tables, we have our renewals on the back of your chamber matters. As you look through those, there's so many members that every day invest back in what you're doing. It's one of those, the rising tide lifts the boats. So we ask for you to consider always doing business with chamber members and also encouraging people to connect with what we're doing because there's so many good opportunities to grow your business or organization. And the Green River District Health Department has their health needs assessment out. We sent that out in our weekly email, but we'd appreciate if you could take that short survey for them. They do great work, and we always want to help them get really good information from the business community. The last, we have a webinar coming up next week, and that's going to be on May the 11th at 11:30 our time. And they're going to be talking about intellectual property. There's a lot of interesting things that are going on in the EU. So if you do global trade, this is something that you may be interested in with patent courts and just anything that you do. And I know a lot of our members do global trade. So it's Kentucky Association for Manufacturing is putting that on. We've been partnering with them in several different areas. So we ask for you all to consider joining this. It's in our weekly email, and we'll send out a specific email for the webinar. So June the 1st is also going to be Bring Your Interns. So if you have interns, it's our special program we do every year for all the summer kids that are coming back or people in the community. So please bring them here. We'll try to connect them with Chamber Young Professionals and some opportunities so they know what's here beyond graduation. And thank you to Big Rivers for being our coffee sponsor. We appreciate them always giving us a charge every month. And Chad, that's all we have this month.
Thanks, Candace.
Thanks, everybody.
Good work as usual.
I'll get my stuff.
Candace, great work as always. So I have to be honest, I'm kind of in fanboy mode this moment about our guest speaker. In my line of work, I know this voice really well, and it's going to ring a bell to a lot of you too. To introduce our featured speaker, Sarah Murphy Ford, our board chair.
All right, so I've had a lot of unique opportunities in my life, and this morning is definitely going to go on that list because the older I get, more and more people say, where in the world are you from with an accent like that? So to be introducing the speaker in between our voice of Owensboro and the voice of the Grand Ole Opry is very humbling and an amazing opportunity. So I'm honored to introduce our speaker, Mr. Kyle Cantrell. He can hardly remember a time when he didn't want to be in radio. As a young boy, he became fascinated with the sound of the voices and music coming out of his grandmother's radio. The sounds of Noontime Neighbors and the Grand Ole Opry from WSM in Nashville and Paul Harvey's distinctive voice over WSIX were some of the earliest radio memories. Kyle was born in Nashville, Tennessee, or more precisely the suburb of Madison. The fact he was born so close to the area where he would live and work all his life makes him something of a rarity in the broadcasting business. But then you might say that everything about his life makes him a rarity. While most of the friends were pursuing other things, Kyle was focused on his goal of a career as a broadcaster, which ultimately took him places that kids of his generation would have never dreamed of going, like the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. Already an avid fan of the Opry, Kyle first sat in the audience at the country music show when he was 15. It was a night which changed his life. Watching the announcers that evening, he decided then and there he was going to do that someday. Already accustomed to public speaking, it seemed to him the perfect fit, a way to combine his love for the Opry and country music and his natural talents. Studying broadcasting and recording industry at the University of Tennessee and later at Middle Tennessee State, Kyle landed his first radio job in the summer of 1980 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee's WMTS. In 1982, WSM called him to join the staff, and in 1985, at the age of 23, he took his place on stage as an announcer on the station's Grand Ole Opry. In addition to an 18-year run as the Opry announcer, Kyle served as a host, producer, and music and production director for the station's music country radio network, during which time he developed many shows and features highlighting the heritage of country and bluegrass music. In 1993, he became WSM's program director, and in 1996 was chosen to oversee programming for all three of the company stations as operations manager. As a part of WSM's management team, he helped rebuild the station's historic stature, pioneering its first classic country format and working to reclaim its history as a broadcasting leader. By 2000, WSM had been named Radio Station of the Century by Radio and Records. It was his passion for traditions and country music itself which kept driving him, and Kyle kept looking for new ways to spread music he loved. In 2002, he became the first morning host playing classic country music for Sirius Satellite Radio. In 2003, he left WSM and became a syndication company to syndicate his own classic country music show to more than 106 radio stations across the country. Then in 2005, he was tapped by Sirius Satellite's rival XM to take over the programming of their Bluegrass channel. At XM, which became Sirius XM in 2008, Kyle completely revamped Bluegrass Junction, bringing the music in line with current industry trends while honoring his heritage. Then, using his knowledge and experience as a broadcaster, he became pioneering everything from live performance to interview shows to highlight the artistry of the format. The enthusiasm and interest with which he approached the music was warmly received by fans and artists alike, and Bluegrass Junction became regarded as a major influence in the bluegrass music. In 2013, the Society for the Preservation of Bluegrass Music in America named Bluegrass Junction Radio Station of the Year, and it repeated that honor in the 9 years since. Meanwhile, for his part, Kyle has been named DJ of the Year 9 times. And was named Broadcaster of the Year 5 times by the prestigious International Bluegrass Music Association. Spreading his love for radio, as well as country and bluegrass music, is a continuing passion for Kyle. Now today, through Banjo Radio, a venture he launched in 2023, he continues to interact with friends all over the world. Welcome, Kyle Cantrell.
Well, with that build-up, I feel compelled to invoke Andy Griffith, who once told Gomer Pyle, and you may know the episode, don't over-expect, okay? Don't over-expect. Thank you very much for that. It is good to be with you all this morning. I am honored to be here. I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, and you know how sometimes your closest friends keep you humble? I was telling a friend of mine yesterday I was coming to speak to this group, and he said, well, how many people are going to be there? And I said, well, gee, I don't know. I imagine a couple of hundred at least. And he said, and how much are they paying to get in? And I told him, and he said, and you're the speaker? And I said, yes. And he said, well, I hope the breakfast is good anyway. So that's his way of keeping me humble. So I do hope you enjoyed your breakfast this morning, and I'll try not to give you too much indigestion before you leave here today. Well, President Brake and Mayor Watson, Representative Miles, Representative Johnson, Mr. Calitri, distinguished guests, members of the chamber, it is so wonderful to be here. I feel like I'm a transplant to Owensboro, Kentucky. I love coming here. I've had the privilege of serving on the Board of Trustees for the Bluegrass Hall of Fame for several years, and anytime I get here and I see this beautiful setting and I see this beautiful river, the wonderful buildings you have going up, all of the buzz that is in this city, everything that has been said this morning that is boosting Owensboro tells me that you guys have a lot going on here, and it is invigorating to be in this town. And I hope you feel invigorated being a part of this community, and I hope you realize what a blessing that you have to be here and to be able to do business and to interact with the citizens of Owensboro and your many visitors, and I hope that you'll keep it up. I sometimes wonder, looking at Owensboro today, what Bill Monroe, who grew up just down the road, as you know, in Ohio County, and I'm sure was a frequent visitor to Owensboro in his young life, I wonder what Bill Monroe would think of what's going on here now. He would probably be as impressed as I am. You know, Bill was a guy who spoke his mind, and we were swapping, some friends of mine and I were swapping some stories last night. Terry Woodward always tells a good one about Bill Monroe, about how a young musician came up to him one time telling Bill, hey, I'm having trouble playing this mandolin. What am I doing wrong? And Bill listened to him play, and he said, well, let me try it. And he hands him his mandolin. And he plays a few notes on it and everything and hands it back to him. And he says, well, I don't know, but it ain't the mandolin. He was the kind of guy who would say whatever he thought, and he was a man of few words. which sort of leads me into my Bill Monroe story, which took place actually in 1983, not long after I had started working for WSM. I was 21 years old that year, and I was pretty green, I got to tell you, pretty green. I had never interviewed, well, I hadn't interviewed many people at all. But I'd never interviewed a major artist. And one afternoon, Keith Bilbrey, who is one of our announcers on the station and who hosted a show called the Friday Night Opry Warm-Up Show, Keith called me and said, "Would you be willing to fill in for me on the warm-up show tonight? My wife has gone into labor with our son, and I need to go be with her." And I said, "Well, you sure do, and yes, I'll be happy." You know, I was so enthusiastic, I would have dug a ditch across the yard if they'd asked me to. And he said, "Well, great." He said, "Thank you for doing this. Your guest will be Bill Monroe," and then hung up before I could say anything. Well, I was pretty fearless, I have to say. When I was young, I was willing to try most anything, but I wasn't ready for Bill Monroe. Bill Monroe was as I say, he was a man of few words, and I was terrified by that. You know, he was known for one-word answers and unintelligible responses sometimes, and I didn't know what I was gonna do with that. I could see myself struggling through an hour and a half of sitting with Bill Monroe there, and us not being able to say anything to each other, and me not being able to put together a show that was listenable, and all of that live on the radio. I could see my career crumbling live on the radio. Have you ever felt like that, where you feel like it's just all going downhill? Get me out of this kind of thing. I could just see that. I could see that happening. The Friday Night Opry warm-up show, as you might appreciate, as you might be able to tell from the name, preceded the Friday Night Opry, and so I had about an hour and a half to be on the air with Bill Monroe. And so I just kind of, throughout the afternoon, as I worried about it, I finally said to myself, the job is mine to do, and I'm going to do it. But I'm also going to pray that he doesn't show up. And in those days, our studios, we had a studio in the Opryland theme park. And on the weekends, we would broadcast from the theme park, and the Friday warm-up show was the first show that we would broadcast from there, and then we would continue all weekend. And to show you how things have changed in this digital age, back then we had these big Samsonite suitcases, you know, the ones I'm talking about. You could hide a child in these suitcases, you know. And we would fill these things up with records and tape cartridges and, you know, any live copy we had and anything we needed, and haul those things over to the studio, and then the guy at the studio presumably would have an empty one that he would take stuff back with and then bring more and so forth. It was quite a process. So I fill up that suitcase with Bill Monroe records and hobble over to the studio, and I sit down and I'm waiting for Bill to arrive, thinking, hey, it might be okay. He might not show up, you know. I might get up to 6 o'clock and he might not be there, but no such luck. Precisely at 5:58, in comes this man, tall. Bill Monroe is a tall man, and he was wearing that characteristic three-piece suit he wore in those days and had that white hat on. I mean, it was all of his bluegrass glory that he was coming in with, and he comes in. I awkwardly introduce myself, he awkwardly introduces himself, and we sat there and looked at each other while the 6 o'clock news was on. And I thought, this is going to be a disaster. So 6:05, I play the first song, and I don't even remember what it was. It was probably something like Uncle Pen or Blue Moon of Kentucky, one of his familiar hits. And after the song, I said something along the lines of, in the process of welcoming him, how much I appreciated his music and how much I had always loved Bill Monroe's music, which was true. And something clicked in him, because I don't know if he interacted with many 21-year-old disc jockeys, but I think maybe he either had compassion on me or he was touched by that, because he was just gracious. That's all I can say for it. We hit it off that night, and for the rest of his life, through the many hundreds of shows that I worked at the Opry and had had the opportunity of introducing him and interacting with him. He was always so kind and gracious to me, and he was always a favorite of mine. And it all started on that night. I wonder what our relationship would have been like had we not had that first night, because I've seen him not be so kind to other people. Not that he wasn't a kind man, but he was just a man of few words and sometimes just didn't give much of himself. The rest of that story is I was so prepared for that evening to be a disaster that I didn't even bother to record the show. And then in 2007, I had been away from WSM at that time for 4 years. I was in satellite radio, well entrenched in my bluegrass career of programming Bluegrass Junction. I was at church one Sunday morning, and this friend of my wife's and mine came up and said, "I want to introduce you to my son, who is visiting here from the state of Mississippi." And so she introduced him to me, and he said, "Kyle Cantrell," he said, "didn't you used to work at WSM?" And I said, "I sure did, worked there for 21 years. And he said, "Didn't you used to host the Friday Night Opry warm-up show?" And I said, "Well, no, Keith Bilbrey did that. I filled in a few times." And he said, yeah. And weren't you on with Bill Monroe one time? And I said, "Well, yes, that was the first one I ever did. You remember that?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I remember it." He said, "In fact, I think I've got a tape of that somewhere. I taped that off the air." And sure enough, he sent me this tape that he had recorded off the air of Bill Monroe and me, and it is a cherished possession of mine. But you may never hear it, because I sound like such a child on that tape, and so inexperienced and so green. But I credit Bill Monroe with helping inspire confidence in me. Well, we had a great night that night. And I wanted to just tell you a few things about Bill Monroe that I'm sure some of you know already. Bill, growing up as a boy just down the road here, obviously music was important to him. He grew up hearing his mother play the banjo and his brothers who became musicians early on, and they all played in the family. It was all around him. But it probably still seemed unlikely to Bill Monroe that he would ever amount to anything in the music business, because Bill was what you may not know, and I think this plays into why he was such a difficult interview, is he was kind of a backward young man. He grew up with very poor eyesight, and his family couldn't afford to have it fixed. And so the story goes that whenever company or strangers would come around, he would actually run and hide for fear that he might have to interact with someone. But all of this music playing around him is what drew him out of himself. It seemed that music was able to unlock the parts of his heart and mind and personality that other things couldn't. And that's a major point I want to make to you today. Bill took that love of music and went on to express himself creatively by creating a whole genre of music and endearing himself to millions of fans and creating a whole economy and industry of bluegrass music. Unwittingly, I think, because he just wanted to play music. He just wanted to express himself creatively. But the point I want to make to you is you never know what impact bluegrass music that comes from Owensboro, this bluegrass music capital of the world, as you call yourselves, you never know what impact that is having on people who hear it. You never know what child who visits the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and goes through some of those programs there to learn how to play music and actually plays a few recognizable notes on some instrument or something like that. You never know how that's changing them. You never know how people who wander through the Hall of Fame are going to have their lives touched by what they see there, and how they're going to be inspired, and how just in learning about bluegrass and seeing where it's come from, you just never know what that's going to do. You never know what just being in Owensboro, maybe going to that barbecue festival you were talking about, or staying in one of these hotels, or being greeted by the kindness of the people here. And you are kind people, right? You are. I know that. And this is a very warm and friendly town. And you never know what your warmth and friendliness will do. So here's where I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to keep it up. Keep up the things that you're doing. Maybe in a few weeks at that Romp Festival, people are going to be coming in from out of town, and maybe they're going to see artists perform, and maybe they're going to be treated well by Owensboro, and maybe they will think of the possibilities of making their home here, or perhaps doing business here, or establishing a business here. You may see some people here in one of these meetings one of these days who came here as a result of ROMP or some other tourism activity. So I do want to encourage you, and I'll add this. Bluegrass music today, like all forms of American music, are in a little bit of a quandary. This is kind of a difficult time for the music business. The changes in consumer habits that have brought about streaming radio and streaming audio, they are hurting actually the bluegrass music business and every other business, but I single out bluegrass because it's a relatively small industry, and those changes that, where people used to buy CDs at merch tables and in record stores and things like that, that's all gone away now. And as great as streaming audio is, it pays very little to the artist. So economically, the bluegrass industry is suffering. And then when you add to that the economy, the cost of fuel for traveling from show to show and things like that, there are challenges today. And it's going to take innovation on the part of the bluegrass music industry. And it's going to take innovation on the part of those who oversee the broader music industry and the broader entertainment field to make things better for those who work creatively. But those things can and will happen, and they will happen because of the support of people like you, and I want to urge you to keep up the wonderful job that you are doing. First and foremost, and I'm going to say this first and foremost because it's my area of bias, but first and foremost, the work you're doing to help preserve and protect and defend and encourage bluegrass music in this town. I love it that you guys think of yourselves as the bluegrass music capital of the world, because no one had claimed that title, and you have the right to it through the efforts of Terry and so many other people to bring the IBMA here years ago and to establish an association for bluegrass music and to take those steps to promote it and develop it. Those are big things in bluegrass, and you are rightly proud of that, and I encourage you to keep it up. Continue supporting the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame. Continue to bring tourists here and point them to the many things this community has to offer. Keep up the great work, and thank you for having me here today. It's been an honor to speak to you, and look forward to seeing you again someday down the line. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, so much going on. We got a couple of pieces of really good news to share with you today before we adjourn. And we'll start right here.
Anybody you like musically has given their whole life to it.
I never do introduce the song by its name. I'll just say, see if you like this one. Let them figure it out.
If you're gonna be in music, it's gonna be a journey, and if you don't love it, then it's gonna be an uncomfortable journey.
'Cause you can't change the past, make the most of what you're living.
I kind of feel like the fiddle chose me because it was the only instrument that my parents didn't have in their band. They said you have to play something if you want to be in our band, because that's how bluegrass works.
Then he kissed you under lights that were so dim. I couldn't stand to see you there alone with him.
I am maybe 12, and he comes up to me and he said, "You're pretty good for a girl. Wait just a minute."
We created My Bluegrass Story to share the story of bluegrass artists. We get to the heart of their journey to explore why they do what they do.
We're storytellers, and this is just another way to tell their story and share with their fans maybe another side of the artist, and gives us a peek into what really informs their creativity.
And we hope that you enjoy every episode as much as we enjoyed creating them.
These dreams are breaking down all my pride.
Yes. So that series nominated for a Daytime Emmy, people. That's amazing. So Jason, Dave, you're all here. Stand up so we can give you a big round of applause. That's amazing. Yeah, the whole Owensboro crew, stand up. So want to tell you too, check out the nominees. I mean, it's like legit. YouTube Studio, Kings of Leon. It's crazy. That's incredible company, incredible work, and congratulations. Phenomenal. So another really exciting piece of news this week, and as somebody who loves to travel, like this speaks to me, just announced, in fact, our friends at Owensboro Times shared this news just a couple of days ago when it broke, but a great new partnership between our regional airport, Contour Airlines, providing nonstop service to Chicago O'Hare.
Jet service.
Yeah, jet service. Phenomenal. Daily flights, more details coming soon, but that really and truly is a ticket to anywhere from our airport. So that's phenomenal news. So again, massive round of applause. Yes, Tristan, where are you? Stand up, wave, that's huge. Congratulations. And all right, a lot going on in May. You've heard a bunch of it. So get out there and enjoy, and we'll see you at the June Rooster Booster Breakfast. Have a great day.